Welcome to the SCLD podcast, where we talk about all the things you can do and find at the library.
Hello, I'm Erin Dodge, a communication specialist here at Spokane County Library District. Today I have Aaron Haight with me, and he's the technology instruction specialist here at the North Spokane Library and throughout the county at all of our libraries if needed, right? Yep. Today we're going to be discussing the upcoming community science programs and how you can participate. And welcome, Aaron.
Well,
welcome back, because you've been here before.
Yes, thanks for inviting me on.
It's wonderful. And can you give us a brief description, what is community science?
Well, community science is a big concept, and you'll see it called citizen science a lot too, okay. Citizen science or community science. And really it's the idea that we're all looking around at the world around us, and we can make observations and add to the data that scientists are collecting to explore whatever they're exploring. Right. In the context of what kind of we're doing this spring, it's the natural world, specifically birds.
Oh, birds.
Birds and bees.
Oh, and bees, yes.
And
so nature.
Yeah, and it's the idea that we're curious, and right. We have things to we can crowdsource so much good information. Yeah. And the cool thing is, this turns out to be a remarkably efficient data collection tool.
We're talking about a cell phone or a mobile phone, as a scientific tool.
Yeah, it's a data collector. You can take pictures on it. It can tell you where you are when you're walking around without you having to put in coordinates.
True.
And a lot of what we're doing this spring is based on the fact that these phones really do a good job at that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right. So listeners, viewers, they can attend a community science program, and they can also do community science at home,
right,
or wherever they want to go and
right.
be. Tell us a little bit more about those upcoming programs. Or let's start with the one that you're doing
yeah.
that talks about this tool.
So the first thing on February 11th, we're going to have a gathering. Well, let me actually back up. Cornell University. The Department of Ornithology at Cornell University
Which
each
is
year
a study
sponsors.
Of birds.
Right, yes.
We might have younger viewers that don't know.
Yep. So they head up a program every year, and they've done it for quite a while now, called the Backyard Bird Count.
Okay.
And so what they're asking folks to do, those who are interested in such things, to look around, to go out into their local world, their backyard, the natural areas around them, and just see which birds are hanging out there. Yeah. Count them, identify them. And to aid in people's efforts to do that, they've created a couple of apps that help with that. There are two of them. The main data collector is called eBird. And so what you can do is you can go out into your backyard or Turnbull Reserve or out along the Centennial Trail.
So you can be in your backyard literally, or
yes.
you could go to
right.
a natural area
right.
and look for the birds.
Or you can go into the parking lot at work, which I did the other day and counted crows.
Yeah.
And you create an account in the program called eBird, and you tell them where you are, what day you were doing at what time of day, and then you tell them which birds you saw and how many.
What if you don't know?
That's a good question, because I'm not a birder by nature.
Me neither.
No pun intended. They also have created an app called the Merlin Bird ID app, and you can put that on your phone, and they will ask you questions about what you're looking at. What does the bird look like? How big is it? What colors do you see? What is it doing? Is it sitting on the ground? Is it perching in a tree? Is it digging for a worm? And it will help you identify those birds. Okay. So you don't need to know much. You just need a couple of tools, and you can participate. The Backyard Bird Count specifically, over a 4-day period, February 17th to the 20th, people around the world, and this is very much an international thing. You can actually go on the eBird site and see a map of where everybody's doing that stuff. And so it's a way of everybody kind of doing something together globally And what they ask is you do a minimum of a 15-minute observation. At some point over the 4 days, you can do more.
Right.
And submit the information that you have. They don't expect you to be perfect. They know that we're not experts in the field.
Sure.
They have tools for helping you find the right information. Okay. If you strangely identify a bird that's only seen in Argentina, they actually have human beings that will contact you and say, "Hey, tell us more. Did you really see that bird?"
Okay, because they want to know if a bird's come up here.
Or just make sure that they're not getting bad data.
Right.
And the thing is, it's okay if a little bad data gets through because so many people are doing it.
Well, that's the other interesting I wanted to ask you. Like, I'm one person. If I see 10 birds in my backyard, it doesn't feel like I'm doing much.
Yeah.
But like you're saying, it's worldwide. So if you have hundreds of thousands of people seeing 10 birds, that's a lot.
Right. Yeah. You can also go out in groups, and groups can create a group sighting.
Okay.
And so you can have 7 people. You can have your family out there.
I was going to say,
kids,
you could do a family
parents.
gathering. You could, if you're in like a scouting group of some sort, they could, as a group, go someplace and count.
Yep. And what's fun is afterwards, one among the many fun things, is afterwards you can go on eBird and see who has done sightings in your area. So you can go in there and say Spokane, Washington.
Right.
Or you can say Riverside State Park and see who has uploaded sightings and compare your notes with theirs. And there are things like little flags that will say, "Oh, this is an unusual bird," or "This is a threatened species," or that sort of thing. One of the things they also do, if they are seriously endangered, if there's a sighting of a seriously endangered bird, they actually don't put that on there because they don't want people
to
gathering in and scaring the daylights out of the bird. And so
Poor bird.
So don't be afraid to report the sightings of those birds if you're concerned that you saying "I saw this" would threaten the bird, because they're careful not to.
I see.
But they still want to know if that bird is in the area.
They want to collect the data.
Right. Yeah. And then they do all sorts of things with the data to look at migration patterns and changes in population and identify species that are, perhaps threatened or that sort of thing.
All right.
And so, it's cool. And we can all take part in that and help them do a better job of.
So this is really interesting, this idea of the whole community or the whole world in small groups of communities kind of coming together to help with scientists can only do so much.
Right.
They can't be everywhere at once. So the community, the citizens coming together to do that is, that's a great idea. And I imagine this is not new. I mean,
birding has been around forever.
Birding's been around forever.
Yeah.
It's ever since people had binoculars or some sort of, eyeglass thing. They've been watching birds. So.
And the thing is, I'm not a bird. Flora and fauna are not my area of great interest.
You're a technology instruction specialist.
and other things. So I started playing around with the apps. I thought, oh God, this is kind of fun.
The apps are fun. Oh,
yeah, and I thought, okay, no, I kind of see how this could turn into something. So,
very cool.
The only thing about the apps is you have to be 13 to create your own account because of the way. The rules about data collection.
Can
absolutely
create an account and report for the kids and kind of do it as a family.
It's all ages activities.
Okay, great. Yeah. So your program where you're going to talk about the different apps and how people can participate and count. That is Saturday, February 11th, 2 p.m. at North Spokane Library, which is where we're at today.
Right here in the lab.
And that's all about bird watching and counting and kind of getting prepared for the Great Backyard Bird Count.
Correct.
Which is February 17th through the 20th.
Yes.
But we also have another activity or component to this at all of our libraries where folks can pick up a kit to make a birdhouse. And that is at every library in Spokane County Library District. And you can pick those up between February 13th and 18th. And you can make your birdhouse and then see
who shows up.
Is it a bird feeder?
I think it's a bird feeder.
Okay, it might be a bird feeder, not a birdhouse.
But
either way.
Yeah.
It's a fun activity to go along with.
And that counts too. If you count the birds that show up at your bird feeder.
Yeah.
because they're in the neighborhood anyway. You're just bringing them out where you can see them.
Yes, I know. I'm going to pay attention to the dates. There are a few dates where a bunch of crows like my yard. I think it's in the spring and again in the fall. I think I'm on their rotation of places to visit because I have I'm the only house on the street that doesn't have a big tree in the front yard. And so they just like all the little bugs and stuff in my grass. Yeah. And I'm just like, oh, hi guys, you're here today.
Yeah.
It would be hard to count. I'd be counting, okay, how many of there are?
Well, and the app tells you, we'll talk about that too, about how to estimate numbers.
I could take a picture too and try to count them out, I guess.
Or if you hear a sound, if you hear a bird call, that's if you can identify the bird, that's a way to identify the bird too. And the app has bird calls that you can play and it'll say, okay, that sounds like it.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay. So it has a lot of helpful tools.
Yeah. But the bird feeder, bring the birds to your yard, count them, and contribute to the cause.
Cool. And then, okay, so that's happening in February.
Right.
And then in May, we are having activity for pollinators, specifically the mason bees, and making now this is where the home came in, making a little bee home for them to come and use and make their honey and do their thing.
So mason bees are a big pollinator. They don't necessarily look like traditional bees. They look kind of more like flies, so you don't necessarily know that you're looking at bees when you see them. Okay. But they're an important pollinator for the area. And we've done this one for quite a few years now, where we've supplied people with the materials to make mason bee homes, because they don't live in traditional hives.
Okay.
Paper tubes and that kind of thing, they'll build nests in that, and so you can put those out on your property there and encourage pollinators, because as we know, pollinators are kind of having trouble these days, and we want to encourage them.
Yeah. I just read something about they're creating a bee vaccine to help the bees.
Yeah. And if you're growing flowers or vegetables or fruit trees, encouraging the pollinators to come to your yard is really going to improve your yield.
Yeah, and it's
So, it's the same thing as the bird feeders.
You come into any of our libraries, May 17th through 23rd, again, as supplies last. If you come in on the first day, you'll almost guaranteed to get the supplies to make the little home for the bees. And like you said, they like sort of the tubing, paper. It's a neat craft.
It's fun to make something and then see the results of your work. So.
Wonderful. Okay, so what other resources? We have a couple stacks of books, so I'm assuming these are the resources
we are a library, so field guides. We've got a million field guides. It's not just birds and bees; it's flowers and plants, and we've got the classic ones for adults. We've also got kid-friendly ones. The Atlas of Amazing Birds seems like a really
that's cool. A fun idea, is to pair like a book like this, a big Atlas of Birds, to the bird count week, because then you can, was that a this or a that kind of bird, and you can kind of look through
and it talks about the bird's habits, so you kind of learn more about how they live and what they're up to. We've also, on our digital library, we've got we have ebooks, and so we have field guides in our ebook collection. But we've also got things like ProQuest, which if you're looking more on the academic side of things, academic journals. The Flipster magazine collection has like Ranger Rick for kids, which is very much wildlife oriented. We've got the venerable National Geographic, so that's a classic too. And then there's some of our Gale, I believe it's Gale in Context Science. So there's a general science one. There are also several geared to specific age groups. So elementary school, middle school, high school, college, and those have great information.
And my son just did a project on raccoons, and we used World Book.
Classic.
And so I would assume if you want to learn more about, like if you have a lot of crows, like I do, and you want to learn more about crows and why they're always in big groups or whatever, you can use World Book to get some of that basic information for sure. And one other app I'd like to plug is an app called iNaturalist. And if you're not familiar with that one, it's not just birds. It's everything natural. Tons of users. It's a great app for. In that one, they encourage you to take pictures of things and upload them.
I learned about that one from my son, who came home from from Eugene one day and was out in the yard with his phone. I thought, what are you doing? And then he looked
the different leaves, the moss, the flowers, the trees.
So if birds aren't your thing and you're more interested in raccoons or flowers or native plants, that's iNaturalist. Yeah, iNaturalist.
Well, okay, great. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm looking forward to the birds. I know we have a lot of different birds. We have some quail sometimes. We purposely cut down a bush that was getting overgrown, and then I realized this past spring, the quails liked to be there. Yeah, they found another bush. Yeah. They hopped over the fence and went into my neighbor's yard. Yeah. It was fine. But I felt bad when I was like, they're running across my yard looking for their bush.
Well,
so for example, I used to have quail and crows. Yeah. And I'm sure there's lots of other ones. We have lots of trees in our neighborhood.
Sure.
So.
Yep. You bet.
Anyway, it's been great.
Yeah.
And so you at home should come on February 11th to learn about these apps, get more details. Erin will walk you through them on how to use them for the great backyard bird count. And then you can also at any library pick up the Take and Make kit for the bird feeder.
You bet.
All right. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me on.
Yeah. And thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.
Thank you for being here today. If you enjoyed today's topic and want to be notified of upcoming episodes, please like and subscribe. To learn more about Spokane County Library District, our programs, resources, and services, you can go to scld.org.